Bungie's nerf to the exotic Titan boots Antaeus wards is now live, on top of a variety of other nerfs and buffs and fixes to the game. Let's go ahead and jump into the recent patch notes that we have on Bungie Help Update 7.2.5. So under the exotic armor section, we have Antaeus ward. The reflective vents now requires full class ability to deploy. Following deactivation of reflective vents, your class ability energy is drained proportional to the amount of damage reflected. No longer provides an improved slide. And from what I've heard, I haven't tested myself, but if you actually slide and receive even like one bullet of damage in PvP, like one primary shot of damage, it will take away your entire class ability energy. I'll have to get in there and test it myself a little bit and see if that's accurate, but that's what I've been told so far. Next up, we have Young Hamkar's Spine, one of my favorite exotic gauntlets, especially in PvE. Unfortunately, it gets a little bit of the axe in PvE due to it being too OP in PvP. Reduce the strip mine grenades increased HP to 70, down from 100, and remove the bonus 50% damage resistance. Grenade energy is now provided on ability kills instead of damage with abilities, and that's the part that really hurts inside PvE, is because previously you could throw these strip mine grenades at bosses and stuff, and as long as it did damage to the enemy, you'd get a chunk of energy back, but now you actually have to get kills with it, so it's basically only going to be properly utilized in PvE against like red bars. To be fair, the reason why they did nerf it as hard as they did was because it brings it more in line with the other hunter exotic gauntlets like Caliban's Hand and stuff like that. Those are obviously not nearly as powerful as a Hamkar Spine, so it probably did need a nerf, I guess, to be more balanced in the PvE sandbox side of things, but it just hurts to get things nerfed in PvE, so RIP to the Young Hamkar Spine. Next, we have Foe Tracers no longer grant max surge bonus on glaive and swords. Interesting. Icefall Mantle fix an issue where players spawned without class ability energy in the Crucible. If you had this exotic on, you spawn and have no class ability energy. That's very odd. Next up, we have Astrocyte Verse. Description has been updated to better match its functionality. And then we have Path of the Burning Steps fix an issue where having the exotic perk active wouldn't change its appearance. Got it. And now we have Pyrogale Gauntlets, updated the exotic perk description to match its gameplay. There we go. Those are all the exotic changes from the hotfix. Now let's see what we got here. General, fix an issue where Photonic Vest was not available in the armor synthesis screen. Fix an issue where the Hinterland Biosphere Explorer. Fix an issue that caused... we don't need to read this part for the video. This part is really interesting though. Weapons and accessories, weapon tuning. Submachine guns, general, increase recoil globally by 10%. Reduce the mouse and keyboard stability bonus from 20% to 10%. So SMGs are going to be a lot crazier to fire. Mouse and keyboard, we'll have to get in there and test it out and see how much recoil we get from using these bad boys now. Next up, we have auto rifles, rapid fire, reduce the aim down sights, damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6. Adaptive, reduce the ADS damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6. Increase base damage from 14.25 to 15, and decrease critical hit multiplier from 1.6 to 1.5. And then precision, reduce the ADS damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6. Reduce the zoom on Amit AR4 from 17 to 15. Rip Amit. Amit gets the axe a little bit there. We've got pulse rifles, general, and increased damage fall off range at 0 stat by 1 meter. And then we have aggressive, increase the ADS damage fall off scalar by 1.8 times. Fusion rifles, general, reduce the minimum damage fusions can deal after damage fall off from 50% to 45%. So small nerf to fusion rifles there. And then next up we have sniper rifles, general, decrease the airborne accuracy penalty by 20%. Sniper rifles are now as accurate at base as they were before airborne effectiveness, AE with Icarus grip. Got it. Aggressive, decrease body shot damage from 157 to 135. So aggressive sniper rifles not doing nearly as much body shot damage. That's actually pretty interesting. Increase crit multiplier from 3 to 3.5, so should still be able to one-shot supers in the head. And we have adaptive, decrease body shot damage from 131 to 119. Increase crit hit multiplier 2.95, 3.25. Rapid fire, decrease body shot damage as well, and increase the multiplier as well. So same thing across the board. Snipers now do less damage to the body and more damage to the head, so it pays significantly more to land that headshot, which I think is a good change overall to snipers. I think that snipers doing so much to the body is not a good playstyle. Obviously, people are just going to shoot and aim for body shots and then swap to other weapons. I think that snipers should, function as a precision weapon and try to get those headshots above the body shots. So I think that's a good change overall. Next, we have shotguns general. Decrease the airborne accuracy penalty for precision slug shotguns by 20%. Slug shotguns are now as accurate at base as they were pre-AE with Icarus grip. So you should be able to jump in the air with slug shotguns and land your shots if necessary. Decrease the airborne pellet spread penalty for pellet shotguns by 20%. Same thing with the pellet shotguns now as well. So if you're running around there with your Matador 64 in PvP, should be fairly accurate when jumping in the air. This is obviously Bungie's way of combating a lot of the PvP community's distaste for the AE system, where when you jump in the air, you get a penalty to your accuracy. Now they're basically making a variety of different weapons have less of a penalty when jumping in the air. Next up, we have some tuning for the Checkmate playlist, which has been a playlist that a lot of people like. I think this week it's actually Checkmate Rumble if you want to jump into that. You got pulse rifles, decrease bonus damage very slightly, could decrease some resiliency, forgiveness. thresholds by 1 tier. This does not shift optimal time to kill against the base resilience for any pulse rifles. Got it. Hand cannons increase bonus damage slightly to remove the resiliency threshold that shifts optimal time to kill for adaptive 140 RPM hand cannons. Adaptive hand cannons will again kill all resilience levels with 3 critical hits. However, they will lose the ability to kill with 3 shots sooner and to damage fall off than in standard Crucible. Got it. How quickly this happens will still depend on the resilience of the opponent. Good changes there. Obviously, hand cannons should 3-tap. I think that's probably the better play. It takes 4. They already have like such a crazy long time to kill, so I think that's probably the best. Next up, we have weapon perks. Perfect float. Increased base duration from 6 seconds to 10 seconds. Increased extended duration from 7 to 12, so perfect float gets a massive buff there. Kickstart gets reduced the damage from 20 to 15%, so a nerf to kickstart. Enhanced heal clip now heals allies when reloading after a kill. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but apparently heal clip maybe got fixed. Maybe it wasn't healing allies after reloading a kill like it should have with the normal heal clip perk. Next, we're going to jump into the general section. Modified the descriptions on how to obtain the intrinsic perks for crafted Dead Man's Tale and what each of them unlocks. Fixed an issue where the Cataphract GL3 grenade launcher was still showing grenades in its magazine when empty. Interesting. That's very strange. I didn't notice that at all. Fixed an issue where Tessellation could reload its alternative fire mode an unlimited number of times in combination with Gunpowder Gambler Arbor Warden. That's funny. So Tessellation glitch is fixed now. Fixed an issue where the Wanderer Tangles didn't suspend champions. Got it. That's a good change right there. Except we have Seasonal Artifact. Fixed an issue where Tangles created using the Thanatonic Tangles seasonal perk had a longer cooldown than intended. Fixed an issue where the Unstoppable Fusion seasonal perk would incorrectly activate on linear fusion rifles. Oh, that sucks. This was such a good glitch too. You'd get unstoppable linear fusion rifles. Dang, that hurts. Vendor focusing reduced the price of exotic armor tier 2 focusing. That's actually pretty cool. I'll have to go check that out. Player identity. Fixed an issue where guardian rank objectives were displayed as completed before the player reached the rank required to claim. All right, that's all of the most interesting stuff. Let me see if there's anything I wanted to cover up here. All the exotic armors. All right, so under the Crucible section, they fixed multiple out of bounds areas on multiplex, and there was an issue where you could spawn in sparrows on multiplex, and they've now removed that, which I'm pretty sad about because I thought it was pretty fun to run around on your sparrow. Next, they also disabled Icarus Dash while using the Aegis Shield in the Crucible Relic game mode. That hurts. Trials of Osiris Meltdown made some adjustments to the Dominion zone and the heavy ammo spawn position, so be mindful of that. Might be Meltdown trials again, and the zones might have changed now. The Root of Nightmares, we have the encounter challenges are now active. So this is an issue that we were talking about previously where I think that what they were trying to do is remedy the issue of the ability to get adepts, but the problem is that even with the encounter challenges being up at all times, is that the master is only available once every 7 weeks and only once per every season, sometimes twice if it's a 14-week season. So it hasn't quite fixed that issue yet, where we're talking about how it takes a year and a half to collect all of the adept weapons. So hopefully they do get to that eventually, but at least this is a step in the right direction. The encounter challenges are now active. And the next one is actually a really good one for the open world right here. Fixed an issue that caused a small number of players to be granted owned exotics from Legend and Master Law sectors and from the Vex Strike Force instead of unowned ones. So you're supposed to get faded exotic engrams, which means you're only supposed to unlock the exotics that you don't have, like when it's Arms Day. If you haven't unlocked Young Ahamkara's Spine, then you should get that before any of the other exotic gauntlets. But what was happening is there was a very small chance that you'd get an exotic that you already did have, and so that's very frustrating and not the way that's supposed to work. It would happen from the Lost sectors and from Vex Strike Force, but thankfully they fixed that now. So all the changes look pretty good. Have to get in there and start testing some stuff in the Crucible and elsewhere and seeing what it's like. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.